Today's episode is going to break down a silent killer of confidence, comparison. I'm going to show you the real reason it keeps you stuck, the neuroscience behind why it drains your momentum, and the exact mindset shift that finally broke me from the cycle of never feeling like I was good enough. I know for many of you, this episode will really resonate right now, and it might well be the thing that you really need to hear. For those of you who are new here, welcome to Built Different, the podcast where I teach you how to rewire your mind to redefine your future. If you've ever felt like success was out of reach, it's probably because no one ever taught you how to take control of your mind. Believe me, I know this feeling all too well. But everything changed when I learned how to just shift my mindset, develop true self-discipline, and understand the neuroscience behind how our brains actually operate. Over the past few years, I've had the pleasure of working with thousands of coaching clients. Between Excel coaching and founding of the Coach Creator, I have had a front row seat to the psychology patterns and beliefs that hold people back. But not only have I seen what holds people back, I've seen firsthand the methods that move people forward. Take those who've been stuck for years and finally give them the turning point that they need. And that's exactly what I'm going to teach you right now. Not all of us are lucky enough to have the right circle of people around us pushing us forward, or even those who are on the same wavelength of thinking, but that's fine, because this is where we break down those mental barriers together every single week. There's a quote we've all heard: comparison is the thief of joy. And let's be honest, everyone nods their head, they get it, but barely anyone lives like it's true. Because what do most of us do? We scroll, we compare, scroll some more, compare again, maybe judge a little, and then convince ourselves that we're behind just because someone else looks ahead. And I'm not speaking from a pedestal here, like I've been there. I was the guy on socials who looked like he had it all together. A coaching business that was booming, living in the city of his dreams in Dubai, doing the job he's always wanted to do. But mentally, I was spiraling because deep down, I wasn't chasing my vision anymore. I was trying to keep up with someone else's. And this is the crazy part. What I thought was motivation was actually just comparison in disguise. And you know that's true when you put your phone down and you feel worse than when you picked it up in the first place. But trust me, everything changed. When I stopped looking sideways and only started to look ahead, everything shifted. That shift didn't just improve my focus, it gave me my power back. And I want to give you that same feeling today. Section 1, the comparison trap, a game you can't win. Comparison is the only race you can never win because the finish line doesn't exist. You're comparing your entire reality to someone else's carefully curated 1% that they showcase on social media. Let's put this into perspective. What you're looking at is a highlight reel. It's like peering through a tiny keyhole into the absolute best moments of someone's life. But it's not just a keyhole, it's the perfect angle, capturing the perfect moment, amplified through marketing and editing. So when you break it down this way, it becomes absolute insanity. So ask yourself some critical key questions right now. Do you really know their upbringing? Do you know their struggles? Do you really know maybe their circumstances? Because all you're seeing is the tip of the iceberg. And even that is polished to perfection. Like when you compare, you're not even making a genuine comparison. It is absurd. Analogies aside, comparison doesn't just lower your mood, it shapes your decisions, it shifts your identity. It makes you doubt a path that you were once confident in, simply because you start looking somewhere else. Suddenly, you're now tweaking every decision, second guessing yourself, but not from logic or truth, but from insecurity or a perceived level of inadequacy. And here's the worst part, you start building a life that isn't even yours. And when your life isn't aligned with your true own values, is it any surprise that your happiness feels so far away? But here's where it gets deeper. Comparison doesn't just mess with your mindset, it rewires your biology. This isn't just a mental game, this is proven in neuroscience. Section 2, hijacked by comparison, the neuroscience of losing direction. When you compare, you don't just lose joy, you lose direction. And that loss of direction, it's not just in your mind, it's in your body too. Comparison pulls you out of homeostasis, the balanced state your system needs for clear thinking, long-term focus, and stable execution. So let's break this down simply. Your body runs in two different primary modes. Number one is the parasympathetic mode, which is our state of rest and recovery, where you think long-term, you're free from day-to-day stresses, and you can focus deeply. And then we've got the sympathetic mode, which is our body's emergency fight or flight state, where survival takes over, stress hormone spikes, and clarity just goes out the window. We're designed to live mostly in that calm, focused state. But in today's world, we're constantly flooded with stress, and comparison is one of the biggest hidden triggers. In history, stress was low and comparison barely existed. The only time you entered survival mode was if you were starving or at war. But today we get hit from every angle. The average person spends over 2 hours a day in a stressed environment. That's 30 days a year in fight or flight. An entire month of your life gone every single year through stress. Not to danger, but to distraction, to comparison. So every time you see someone else's win, your brain perceives that as a threat. Not a physical one, but a psychological one. You might tell yourself, I'm not enough, I'm behind. And that's all it takes to trigger the stress response. So your cortisol rises, heart rate variability increases, your brain diverts energy from growth to survival. You stop thinking clearly and start obsessing about what you lack. So all forms of gratitude completely go out the window. Then let's talk about dopamine, your brain's chemical reward. It's supposed to fire when you make progress. But when you live in a state of comparison, that system essentially gets hijacked. Your brain starts rewarding you for watching others win instead of doing anything yourself. And this is why this gets dangerous, because your body adapts, and that's called neuroplasticity. It rewires based on repetition over time. So if you keep feeding it comparison, it learns to chase what you're not and ignore what you are. And that's the real cost. You don't just feel off. Your biology gets rewired to chase the wrong things. And it goes from having an off moment to then all of a sudden having a permanent trait. So if you've lost focus, energy, or momentum, this could be why. Your fulfillment starts to rely on everyone else's wins, and that's how you lose direction. Your system is built for progress, but only when it's measured against your path. So stop running a race that isn't yours. Focus on your lane, and you will find clarity again. And now we get to the most dangerous part, because if you stay stuck in this loop for too long, comparison doesn't just stall your growth, it convinces you to never start in the first place. Section 3. Comparing your chapter 1 to their chapter 20. Comparison doesn't just stall your progress, it justifies your inaction. Let's call it whatever you want. It's an excuse, because we have all done it. You've scrolled, you've observed, you've compared, and then all of a sudden you've convinced yourself that there's no point starting because you're so far behind someone else. You tell yourself, they've got more experience, they've got better connections, they're already way further ahead, what's the point for me? And so another week goes by and you're still thinking, you are still planning, you're still self-doubting. But let's be real, you're not stuck because you're not ready. You're stuck because you're continuously comparing and can't escape that cycle. You're using someone else's chapter 20 to justify not writing your chapter 1. You're mistaking observation for preparation. But let's be clear, watching other people build doesn't build a single thing for you. You can call it inspiration, but it's just a lie. It's a trap, because the longer you stay in that, the more it feels like you're doing something. So you could tell yourself you're strategizing, you're learning, you're telling yourself stories to justify why you are still standing still. But that's what comparison does the best. It gives you enough stimulation to feel, let's say, somewhat productive, while slowly killing your confidence to actually act. And this is the scary part. Every time you scroll instead of start, you're reinforcing the identity of someone who just watches, not someone who builds momentum. So if you're serious about growth, if you're serious about your own progress, if you actually want to change, it starts by breaking that cycle. Because the scariest part of comparison isn't just how it makes you feel internally, it's what it slowly convinces you to stop doing. So let's shift. Let's talk about what actually gets you out of this trap. And it's very simple. It's action. You need to zoom back in and focus on what you can control. Your focus, your inputs, your beliefs, your time allocation, and even who you follow on social media. Because when you focus back on your lane, not theirs, everything changes. That fog starts to lift, the confidence returns, and so does your momentum. So remember this one thing: comparison keeps you watching, action gets you winning. Think and Grow Rich teaches us that burning desire is the starting point of all achievements in life. But you can't have a burning desire for someone else's life. That's not a desire, that's a distraction. So comparison splits your energy completely in two, but desire needs undivided attention, and so do your goals. So if you want clarity, commit to your own path, follow through on your goals, on your desire, and remember, no one is playing your game but you. So to wrap up, here's your task from today's episode. Pick one of the areas of your life and ask yourself, what's a 1% win that I can lock in for myself this week? Write it down, track it, and make sure you own it. And compare it only to who you were yesterday, because that's the game of life. That's all that matters. You're not here to become someone else. You are here to build the future version of you. If this hits home, please share it with someone stuck in that comparison trap and tag me on your stories, and let's just keep breaking these traits down one by one mindset shift at a time. And remember, if you rewire your mind, you redefine your future. Because trust me, you are built different. You just need to believe it. Peace out, Joe.